Today, I want to talk about something I call the $10,000 rule and why $10,000 will change your life. Now, the truth is there are two parts to this. Part number one, we're going to talk about what happens when you actually save $10,000 and you have it in an account. Some things start to change. Life starts to get better. Financial literacy starts to happen and your opportunities increase. The second part to the $10,000 theory is that when you start making $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year, everything scales from there. So there was a time in my life when $10,000 might have been $1 million because I didn't have anything. I was broke. I was living hustle to hustle. Every dime that I made, I was very cautious and careful about how I spent it. There was no extra money ever. More than that, I was taking money off of my credit cards to pay my staff and my bills because I had a business that I was trying to basically operate that wasn't making enough money. All right? And so for my entire life from the age of like 0, it was always something that I was worried about. I was always thinking about money. All right, growing up, we were poor, we were on government assistance, and so my entire life until my mid-30s, I never had any money. For my entire life, I was living with this burden and this weight of pressure financially. And financially, it was like a dirty word to talk about money. I never even wanted to think about it because every time I did, it caused me anxiety. I was stressed out and I just knew that I wasn't where I wanted to be. But then one day, something amazing happened. I gave up my dream. I started to figure a few things out and I started to save. All right. I also realized that if I was going to ever have money, extra money, I needed to live below my means, which is something that most people do not do. Most people spend everything that comes in. They don't have a budget, and a lot of people don't even know how much money is actually coming in, which is where the problem starts. If you ever expect to save $10,000, you've got to know how much is coming in, how much is going out. All right, it's a formula, simple. All right, at the end of the month, how much money do you have left? And if the answer is 0 or $10, or the answer is negative because you're taking money off of your credit cards in order to pay bills or debts or whatever, you need to seriously get your head out of your ass. This is never going to work unless you are honest with yourself financially. It's very hard, it's very painful, and it's one of the most difficult things that you can do, especially when you are somebody that is broke. But for me, I started saving. I started doing the things that I need to do. And then one day, it happened. I didn't think about money. It was the first time in my life that I didn't stress or worry about money at the end of the day. The next day, same thing happened. It was from this point that everything in my life started to change. All the energy, all the bandwidth, all the stress, thinking about and worrying about, what if I get a flat tire? What if anything. When you are living that close to your means, if anything out of the ordinary happens, and it always happens, your air conditioning goes out, you blow a tire, you have something you need that you don't have the money for, right? You are in trouble because you're going to have to take credit or borrow from credit in order to pay this, which is ultimately going to exacerbate the problem because now you're having to pay not only that expense, you're having to pay the interest, which is making that other person rich. When I had $5,000 in the bank for the first time, I didn't think or stress about money because I knew $5,000, I've got enough to pay my bills for a few months. I've got enough. If something happens, I can afford to pay it. Now, this was like 25 years ago. And so now with inflation, that number's probably $10,000. All right. And so the thing that you need to focus on is saving and figuring out a way in order to earn or make an extra $10,000 that you can have in an account that you can use if something happens. And here's what's going to happen when you do. So the first thing is your confidence will skyrocket. Why? Because you just did something that most people will never do in their life. It is hard to live below your means. It is hard to manage your money in a way that you have extra funds that you can actually save. All right, and I'm not saying that you need to make $100,000 in order to do this. All right, you just need to be disciplined. And this discipline builds character. It also builds habits, which brings me to the second thing. It's just the start. Once you save $10,000, you're going up, right? You're going to 12 and then 15 and then 20 because you have built new habits. You also are going to be pickier with the opportunities or the things that you spend money on. Something amazing happened. For me, is once I had a little money, like sitting in the bank, and I'm like, hell yeah, like this is my nest egg. Your nest egg, right? This is the start of your nest egg. This little pile of money that you have been able to earn and save, this is your power, right? It's gonna grow. You have it in a simple money market that's paying you interest, it's gonna grow without you doing anything. And this is where everything changes, when you can actually start using your money and leveraging it in order to make money while you're sleeping, all right? If you never learn to make money while you're sleeping, you're gonna work until the day that you die. But you've got this little power nest egg, right? And you're gonna protect it, which means you're gonna make smarter buying decisions. You're not gonna waste money the way that broke people do, because you know that you could save the money that you would have wasted on that thing that you didn't really need anyway. And so it makes you more intelligent when it comes to your buying habits and your buying decisions. It also is going to open up opportunities. When you have this money, you're going to now think about how to actually spend it or leverage it in order to grow it. Having it just sitting in an account, like a savings account, isn't going to do what it could do if you actually invested it or used it in order to start a side hustle or a business. And that is where the real magic happens, and that is starting a business and learning and figuring out how to make $10,000 a month. Now, real quick, if you are interested in learning from people that have done it, I want to link down below to the 10K Club VIP list, all right? We're about to open up the second class to this community. Only 50 people. That's all we allowed in 2 months ago for the first group, and these people are dominating, kicking ass, and making money already. Guys, if you go through that special link, not only can you sign up to be notified when we launch to grab your spot, you also have a bunch of testimonials from the people that are in there now. All right? This isn't bullshit. It is 100% legitimate. All right? Don't just take my word for it. Take theirs, because they're the ones that are in there and getting the value, getting the knowledge, and building their financial future. Guys, if you're interested, hit the link down below, because once you reach $10,000 a month, everything, and I mean everything, changes. And this is why. You are now in a different bracket. You're in a different world. $120,000 a year is a life-changing amount of money if, and only if, you manage your money well. One of the big mistakes that happens is people start making or earning more money and they start spending more money. And it's something that happens all the time, right? It doesn't mean that you're wrong for wanting to spend more money because you're making more, but if you truly want to get ahead, you've got to push down that urge. Look at all these athletes that basically get these multi-million-dollar contracts. They were broke, they make a lot of money, and all of a sudden, they're broke again. Why? Because they lived above their means or to their means, and they didn't actually save or invest. When you make $10,000 a month, you have more opportunity to put that money to work. All right? If you live below your means, you check your spending, and you get your ego under control. All right? Ego is one of the things that's going to make you spend money that you don't have or waste a ton of money. Keeping up with the Joneses, fuck that, right? They're not that great anyway, and they're probably lying anyway. And what I mean by that is a lot of the people that you see on social media or in your town or your friends or your family even, a lot of times are just trying to buy or act like they're at a point that they're not actually at. And so a lot of your friends that you know do not have $10,000 in the bank. A lot of the parents that you know of your friends do not have $10,000 in the bank, even though they may be driving a BMW or a nice car. It's all a facade. The truth is, if you can look poor, or not necessarily like homeless, but look like you don't have a ton of cash, it means that you're not wasting a ton of money on material possessions that are going to be out of style in 3 months. If you can live below your means and drive a nice car, but you don't need that extra nice car. You need to live in a nice, safe place, but you don't need to be living in the penthouse. Do not waste money on those two things. Cars and houses. Those are the areas that we spend more of our money than anything. And if you can get that urge in check, live below your means, all that extra money you can put to work. All that extra money you can invest into a business, a side hustle, the market. By just taking that extra money, saving 20% of your monthly income, all of a sudden it starts to take off because of the beautiful thing called compounding, right? Compounding interest, it's amazing. Compounding your money is incredible. And the reason is because you took that money that you had, that you earned, that you didn't spend, and you're giving it to somebody else to basically use, to leverage, to make more money, and then in turn, you're gonna earn interest. All right, if you look at Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett, like one of the richest dudes in the world, right? If you look at his financial trajectory or graph, it didn't start to actually take off until he was like 65. And now he's worth like $100 billion. But it's because he started early. All right, and that is kind of the next thing I just want to mention. The earlier you start saving, investing, prioritizing that above buying cool shit, the sooner you're going to be able to give the man the finger. All right, being in a financial position of strength is one of the things that each and every one of you should work towards. All right, most of us aren't there yet. But when you don't have a bunch of debt or you pay cash for all the things you buy, it's amazing how powerful of a situation that becomes. All right, real estate, another opportunity, right? When you pay down real estate or you pay down your car, when you don't have a car payment, oh my God, that average $700 payment that you were spending on your car, when that's gone, right? Now you can take that $700 and invest it, save it, use it, give it to somebody else in order to use, all right? Everything changes when you make $10,000 a month. I'm telling you. Once you can do that, once you can learn and put the things together, you have proven the concept. You have proven that you can do it. You can prove that it works. Now it's time to take it to that next level and make $100,000 a month, all right? I just want to real quick show you, and this isn't necessarily to brag, this is just to show you what's possible, all right? Yesterday, can you see that? One of my businesses, Pete and Pedro, I made $23,000 yesterday. $23,000 in a day. $23,000 was what I made in 8 months before. How did I do it? It's not rocket science. I'm not that smart. I have done what I need to do. I've learned what I need to do. But the biggest thing that I did, I was willing to take a chance and a risk on me. I believe in me. Gentlemen, if you're ready to take control, I challenge you. $10,000, that's where it starts. When you have $10,000 in the bank, life starts to get sweet. And then when you parlay that into $10,000 a month, that is when everything changes. You need to work towards it because I promise you, being broke, it's not fun. Being not broke, a lot better. It doesn't solve all your problems, but it gives you options. And options are honestly a cheat code to life. Guys, if you want to join us at the VIP list, hit the link down below to join or possibly join the 10K Club. Options are literally a cheat code to life, but it starts with you taking control and taking action. Guys, if you've made it this far, I know you're serious, I know you're interested. If you're willing to do the work, we are willing to do it with you and help you any step that you need along the way. Hit the link down below, go sign up to be on the 10K VIP list. If you're not interested, no big deal. I just want to help those who want to help themselves do something amazing.